finances, which is the thing, I mean, I was even disappointed. I read the New York Times. I know that's fake news, but they had an article which the headline was really disturbing. I mean, it said, Social Security is in major trouble. And they based that on the numbers. And just, again, many of you I'm sure know this, but a lot of people may not. Social Security has had a surplus up until last year. In other words, more dollars being paid in than paid out. And the surplus was put into a trust fund, into bonds, at very low interest rates, so the government was getting a good deal. But nevertheless, there was a surplus. As of last year, for the first time, and this is because of an interesting factor, but as of last year, it has started to have to draw down on the bonds, on the trust fund. And it has enough in the trust, in bonds, to continue paying full Social Security benefits until 2037, 2035. Probably not a problem for, at least not for me, personally. And then, if nothing is done, it will pay be able to pay 75% of the benefits. Part of the problem, and this is something, again, that we could easily solve if we were a little more liberal about immigration policy, is the dependency ratio. Since I don't use slides, I will use my hands. It used to look like this. There were all these workers down here and then these retirees up here. Now it looks like this. There are fewer and fewer workers, and that's called the dependency ratio. Fewer and fewer workers supporting more and more retirees. And so obviously you're pulling in less dollars. That could be changed if you increase immigration or various other policies. Now, some of the fixes, if nothing happens, as I said, 75 to 80% of the benefits would be paid out of those bonds, out of the trust fund. So Social Security is not bankrupt. It is taking in less dollars and therefore using the major surpluses it's had, not since the inception, well, at least the last 20, 30 years. It's interesting because it was so solid financially that LBJ basically decided to include Social Security in a unified budget, which meant that he could hide some of the expenses of the Vietnam War by having a big surplus, because then you didn't have a big deficit because you had the surplus from Social Security that you could count in the bottom line for the budget.